Tonight's special board meeting will begin in approximately 1 minute. We'll begin in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good evening. The special school board meeting for September 3rd, 2015 is now in session. Pam, roll call, please.
Mr. Craig?
Present.
Mrs. Belford?
Present.
Mrs. Henderson?
Here.
Mrs. Nisi?
Here.
And Mr. Ziegler?
Present.
Remember that the final public hearing, you want me to read that too? Okay, this is the regular meeting, but the public hearing will begin at 5:30. Michelle Irwin, Director of Community Relations, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise.
And we still have a flag. Yay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. That brings us to the adoption of the agenda. Dr. Blackburn?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Nisi and members of the board. On today's agenda, 12 consent items. You also have the yellow supplemental agenda, which are changes made to the agenda since being released to the public. There are revisions to 9 consent items. Item F7 on Internal Service Medical Budget Amendment Number 2 for 2014-2015. Item F8 on Internal Service Casualty Funds Budget Amendment Number 1 for 14-15. Item F10 on Operating Budget Amendment 10, June 30, 2015. Item F11 on Annual Financial Reports for 14-15. Item F12 on Capital Projects Fund Budget Amendments, number 15 through 18. Item F13 on Special Revenue Budget Amendment 2 for 14-15. Item F14 on Special Revenue Fund American Recovery and Reinvestment Act Budget Amendment Number 2. Item F15 Special Revenue Fund Food Service Budget Amendment Number 3. And item F16 Debt Service Funds Budget Amendment Number 3. And an action agenda item addition. Item G18 on Letter of Opposition regarding Best and Brightest Incentive.
Do I have a motion to adopt the September 3rd, 2015 special school board meeting agenda and its revisions?
Move to accept.
Second. Motion was made to approve by Mr. Ziegler, seconded by Mrs. Henderson. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Okay, motion carries unanimously. There's no administrative staff recommendations, I see. No recognition of visitors, no resolutions, proclamations, no presentations. We are now at public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay. The maximum allotted time for each speaker is 3 minutes. Clarification of information presented and answers to questions specific to District Board, business, and educational matters will be posted on the school board's website on the section called For the Record. Please be reminded that profane, abusive, or slanderous speech is not permitted. I request that you speak into the microphone and state your name for the record. We have one speaker tonight. Mr. Charbonneau?
Richard Charbonneau, Satellite Beach. Never let it said me that I'm like Scott. I'm cynical all the time. I got an email from Amy, and it was just something I had recommended, and apparently you all beat me to the punch. The purchase of new school buses and natural gas is a tremendous choice. I don't know if you spoke to George Galetko from Waste Management or not, but the operating costs are probably half with that, and also there's the pollution issue and also the maintenance issue. You can take a diesel school bus or a county bus for that matter, and within 15 minutes the oil turns black. And you take one that's been running on natural gas, and after about 50,000 miles, the oil's still clean, the plugs are clean, the valves are clean, and it's a win-win-win. So you made a good choice. That's it.
Well, I said we looked into it. Now,
Oh, I
don't
thought
know.
you were doing it.
I'm looking at Judy. Did we go on ahead and purchase some, Judy?
I'm sorry?
I'm looking at Judy. We looked into them and assessed it, but I'm not for sure if we went on ahead and purchased them.
Oh, okay.
No, we haven't yet, but we are looking into them, correct? Okay. I didn't want to take away from your 3 minutes.
The long-term maintenance, though, it's phenomenal. The only issue that I've ever seen, my uncle is the largest beer distributor in the world in New York, and he has a couple hundred of them, and when it goes below zero, they start hard. But, it doesn't go below zero in Florida, so I don't think we have a problem. So,
Yeah, we
and
hope
then
it
the
doesn't.
range, probably about 250 miles is probably the most you can get out of them. Where with a diesel, you can go 300 and 400 miles. But again, how big is Brevard County? To drive all the way from Viera to Sebastian Inlet, isn't 250 miles. So I just don't see any downside on it. And plus, I don't know if any of you followed one of the waste management trucks, but you drive behind them, you can't smell a thing. It's a truly clean truck, to do. And I know, George, if you've got anything about the technicalities, George from Waste Management, he'll fill you in on it because he pushed real hard to get it at Waste Management. So I surely recommend it.
Yes, yeah, I didn't mean to mislead you on that. We are,
no, that's all.
but we were looking into it, and I know, because I've asked Judy that before about the natural gas, so I know the board's received emails from companies about that, so it is something I know that you guys have looked into.
Yeah, the price for fuel right now, I mean, diesel fuel's down too, but natural gas is really, really affordable right now. I mean, that's, FPL, changed from oil to natural gas some time ago, and they really should be lowering our rates much more than they are because they really have a windfall right now, but that's, something beyond our control.
Absolutely,
All
but
right, but good luck.
thank you. Comment?
Yes, we looked at this a while ago, and George Galetko with Waste Management was gracious enough to invite us to look at their filling station where they actually fill with natural gas. And one of the logistical issues with this is the cost to create our own filling stations is an issue. Yet Waste Management was nice enough to say they would definitely consider allowing us to utilize theirs in some way. I don't know how difficult that is. I don't know if it has to do with position of the filling stations versus position of where our bus depots are, with the routes are, but there is a logistical challenge to it. But our staff does recognize the benefits that the speaker mentioned. So, but I don't know if or when that'll be possible because there's a lot to that. You don't need to speak to that. I'm just letting you know. I know that this has been seriously looked at and that the benefits are acknowledged.
Okay. Anybody else? Well, as always, the board wishes to thank this evening's speaker, and your willingness to speak to the board is appreciated. And you see, we did converse back with you. There are times we like to do that. Well, I know you were the one that brought up that sometimes we don't respond back to speakers, so this was an opportunity for us to do that. Okay, so that moves us into the consent agenda. Dr. Blackburn,
There are 12 agenda items under this category.
does any board member wish to pull any item? Wow. Okay, so Pam, we're not going to move any of them. So I'll entertain a motion to accept all the consent items.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion was made to approve by Mr. Ziegler, seconded by Mrs. Belford. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, please vote. Oops, there we go. Yeah, mine didn't want to click. Motion carries unanimously. I don't think we need a break. I'm assuming you're all good with that? I heard a giggle down the end, so I guess we're good. Okay, Dr. Blackburn, we're ready for an action item?
Mrs. Nisi and members of the board, the action item this evening is regarding the letter of opposition regarding the Best and Brightest incentive.
Do I have a motion to approve the letter of opposition to the Best and Brightest Teacher Pay Incentive drafted by Mr. Craig, which, by the way, thank you very much.
Move to approve.
I didn't even get to read it. To be sent to the governor and district legislators. Okay. Okay, motion was made to approve by, no surprise, Mr. Craig, seconded by Ms. Henderson. Any further discussion?
I'll just add, first of all, thank you to the board for supporting this. I think this is one of those times where we have the ability to kind of be nimble as a board and attack a problem with a solution, especially when we have the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House in our wheelhouse right now. And so I think by seeing a consolidated effort to just change a small thing here that could really mean a lot for our state, really, not just to the district, I think is important. So thank you very much to the board for supporting it. And Pam, thank you for your time in typing up all the different letters and making sure they look great. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Now, I know my script says no information items, but I see quite a few there, so. Under information?
You're on the wrong one.
Yeah, I didn't see the action item either.
Go up there, you're on the wrong one. You're on-
Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, good. Well, Andy, I mean, I'm glad you and I were both there together. Well, I was looking at that and I was like, something's not right.
Okay. All right, now we can go on.
No, you can't. It's okay. I was flipping back and forth anyway. So we're good. At least I have a good excuse. Okay, now I'm on the right link up here. Now I see that there's no information items, no staff reports, no public presentations, board member reports. I started down there last time, so I'll start down here. Do you have anything to report? No. Nothing? Andy?
A few more meet and greets for our wonderful superintendent. I think he's setting a record right now for the number of meet and greets, which is good because you're getting out there and talking to everybody. We did the AME Church in Lipscomb in South Melbourne. And afterwards, after about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half of speech and questions and answers, I thought it was never going to end, but I think those people love you. They were ready to adopt you and keep you for their very own. And they put on a great meal for us, and that was very nice. And then this morning, got to address the Melbourne Regional Chamber of Commerce. Did a great job there, and I immediately this morning got inundated with feedback already. So good job, being very well received, and everybody's very excited about your position here.
Karen?
Dr. Blackburn and I went out yesterday and visited 2 schools, and that was really fun. I want to do more of those because I thought it was very informative. So we met with teachers and then with the principal, each school an hour each. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for thinking of that. Also, Vieira High football team is going to be in Allen, Texas tomorrow. So that's a big woohoo for us, and we wish them well. And I am meeting with curriculum tomorrow to talk about the FSA audit report. After I read it, it is contradictory at best. And so we're hoping to, I don't know what we'll end up doing, but hopefully we'll be able to put something together that we could present to the legislators and kind of get our view of things, at least give a report to the board so that you can see what we're all seeing. So,
John?
Most of mine will be reserved for next week, but I guess, the 50th anniversary of Merritt Island High School went off without a hitch other than them losing to Heritage. Big hitch, but a great celebration both that night to see that entire stadium packed with everybody with classes all over. And then the parade the next morning was awesome. Literally from 1966 all the way through 86, every single class was represented, which was pretty cool. Now the later classes were not, because I don't know what they were doing. But some great floats, and everybody seemed to be having a great time, and it was very cool. And to see Gary Schifrin in his yellow and black bumblebee suit was pretty interesting as well. So that was pretty cool. But other than that, thank you for bringing up the FSA thing, because I think, yes, we have a delegation meeting on the 22nd, and certainly if we have a consolidated opinion that we can present to them at that time, I think you're exactly right, Ms. Henderson. So thank you for bringing that up, and tell us what we can do, either from our districts to find out information, so that we can make sure that we can give you the right ammunition as we develop that legislative platform, at least in that specific arena. So thanks.
I don't have a report, but I would have a request. One of the things that I've been thinking about since my meeting with you, Dr. Blackburn, is the conversation about principals saying that board members only see us when there's something wrong, and also how to better build the relationship between board members and senior staff, and how I might be able to at least start making baby steps in those directions, because I know as a board member, I haven't always felt welcome, or not unwelcome, but it's finding those opportunities to go out to those schools. And so I know you and I are going out to visit schools, and I find it a lot more fun to go out to buildings with somebody. And so what I would like to do, if senior staff would be willing, a way that I think would work both of those angles, is that I would like to ask if senior staff members would invite me to come out with you to a building. So for example, if, let's say, Jane, you're going to go visit a school in my district, arrange a time for me to come with you. That gives for you and I a chance to visit, and then I get to go see a school. And same thing for Dr. Mullins or anybody else. And so I would really welcome the opportunity to do that with you, Cindy, or other staff members. That gets me out in my schools. That also gives me a chance to get to know you, and if we time it right, I'll buy you lunch. So, and maybe and maybe, and so
I'll go. I mean, you didn't say lunch.
I know I didn't say whether it'd be at the school cafeteria or not, so Kevin, you're going to have to work on that. But I would like to start building those relationships back with senior staff, but I also want to get out in the buildings a lot more, and I thought maybe we could start building the relationships together that way. And then maybe we could also bring in some of the other staff members, like the resource teachers or staffing, it might be a way to start working together with some of those. So if it wouldn't be too scary for you to give me a call and maybe set up a time, I would welcome the opportunity to go out and visit some schools with you. So I just would offer that olive branch and see if maybe I can get out and see some more schools, but I can maybe pair up with some of your staff.
I don't want to answer for them, but I mean, you threw lunch in there, so I know there's some folks back there that don't mind a good meal. I think it's great. One of the common findings I'm hearing as I'm out and about is how wonderful this school system is performing right now and has performed. And performers have leaders, and a lot of those leaders are sitting in the back of the room right now. So I've been pretty excited working with them, and I'm strongly encouraging a heightened awareness on relationships and collaboration. So that's great.
Well, and there are people that aren't back there tonight that I also include in that. So, the people working with you, I've got a lot of schools to see, and it's a lot more fun to go with somebody. So all I ask is to give me a call or send me an email, and let's set something up. Okay, Dr. Blackburn, do you have a report?
No report?
Okay, any other business to come before the board? Okay, well, we have 10 minutes until our budget hearing, so this meeting is adjourned.